Hi, this is Zach, and I'm going to be teaching you about the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2 times a. This is for Algebra 2 in 5th period. So there's a few simple steps you always need to follow when you're solving the quadratic formula. You always need to identify your a, your b, and your c. Second, put it into standard form. Third, reduce your radical. Fourth, solve by adding and subtracting your reduced radical. Let's start with some examples. The first example, we're going to solve for 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals 0. As you can see, my a is equal to 2, my b is equal to negative 5, my c is equal to negative 3. So when you plug it into the formula, it will come out as negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 2 times negative 3 over 2 times 2. When you reduce that formula, it becomes 5 plus or minus 49 over 4. And then when you add and also subtract your radical, your answer will come out to 3 or negative 1 or 2. 3 will come by adding it, as you can see, plus or minus. Negative 1 over 2 will come by subtracting it. Your second example will be x squared plus 4x equals 0. When you plug it into the formula, it becomes negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 times 2 minus 4 times 1 times 0 over 2 over 1. When you reduce that, it becomes negative 4 plus or minus square root of 16 over 2. When you add or subtract the reduced radical, it equals out to x equals 0 or x equals negative 4. And for the third example, we have 5x squared plus 9x equals 5. As you can see, this one's a little bit different. Instead of it equaling 0, it equals 5. But don't worry, it doesn't even make it that much harder. All you have to do is set it equal to 0, and by that we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, turning our quadratic into 5x squared plus 9x minus 9 equals 0. And after you do that, you can finally plug it into the formula. Negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 9 squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 5 over 2 times 5. When you reduce that, it becomes negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 181 over 10. Once you reduce that, again, and subtract the radical, it turns out to be negative 9 over 10 plus 1 over 10, the square root of 181, or negative 9 over 10 plus negative 1 over 10, the square root of 181. Thank you, and that concludes the learning of radicals.